Hello friendos and randos, and hopefully many new randos at this specific video. My name is Hiroshisho. I am one of the premier One Piece card game VTubers, of which there are not very many. and this video is going to be talking about, should you start One Piece in 2025, and can you start One Piece in 2025? So the One Piece card game is 2 years old now. It has reached its second year anniversary. I think recently in August of 2024, and then that means we're going to be heading into its third year of its run now, and 10 sets in Japan right now, and going to be 10 sets in the West very, very soon as well. That being said, it can be a bit daunting to try and get into a card game 10 sets in. I'm sure people who have tried getting into Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, or Magic will have a similar kind of experience where there's just so many cards to learn and it's very, very difficult to kind of figure out. But I think there are definitely merits to still trying to start it out, and of course I'm going to be talking to you guys about it in a few different steps. So first off, why even start? Second, how to get started, and then lastly, what are the resources that you can use so that you can get started well. So first of all, why even start? I guess one thing is that One Piece, if you haven't heard of it yet, is one of the biggest intellectual properties in the world. It is the most popular manga franchise. It has almost as many comics sold as Batman, and I think it has almost as many comics sold as Superman, and I think has beat Batman and Spider-Man recently. Let me just double check my source on that. It is, of course, really, really popular, wildly popular, and it's only getting more and more popular as it continues to be a mainstay of the Weekly Shonen Jump. You can see as many other anime and manga are finishing up, like Jujutsu Kaisen, Demon Slayer, Attack on Titan, and My Hero Academia. You can see that One Piece is still standing strong even after the big three in Naruto and Bleach have also finished up. Other than that, the player base is still thriving. It is still growing even. Many more players are getting into One Piece. The online community is really great. So when it comes to speaking with people all around the world, in the West, in the East, I think it's really, really great. And I've made a lot of friends with people that I would probably never have interacted with if it weren't for the One Piece card game. And of course, as a YouTuber, I have a platform now thanks to the One Piece card game. It's something that has really made a huge impact on my life. I think it can also be a similar good impact on one of your lives as well if you were to start the game. Thirdly, the card art itself is all really, really gorgeous to collect. Of course, let's not talk about the OPO1 anime screenshots anymore, but I think they also kind of have a little tongue-in-cheek laugh about it if you look at some of the PRB alternate arts for these cards as well. But you can see that they've put in a lot more effort since then to make sure the cards all look really, really pretty. Most of the art is original art, or even if they are done by the anime studio, it's very rarely a screenshot straight from the anime itself. Union Arena. But I think that you can see most of the card art is really, really gorgeous. They are really fun to collect. My personal binder is not full yet, but I am trying to collect one of every alternate art as well. And I think if you're just in it for like pretty cards and you like One Piece a lot, the card game is a really great like place to start. It's really fun. The game itself has a lot of really fun mechanics and many different leaders and decks that you can try out to match your different playstyle as well as to play your favorite characters. And then lastly, for all of you sweaty players out there, the pricing for One Piece is very, very lucrative. You can see some of the price cards that I've put on the screen here. You can see usually they're selling for upwards of several hundreds or even several thousands of dollars. And of course, the World Championship card, the first World Championship that was hosted last year, the first place winner is now a millionaire. So you can tell that there is a very, very lucrative set of pricing. Of course, not everyone is going to be the world champion, but on the way to that championship, you are going to be able to earn a lot of lucrative pricing as well. And even things like the participation for these tournaments are generally able to cover your entry fees for some of these events as well, because of how even though that there are many, many tournaments, there are also many, many buyers for these cards. So you will generally make back your participation fee for most of these tournaments. So to recap, why start One Piece in the first place? The IP is really big, which means that you can expect the card game to have some form of longevity. The community is huge, the player base is thriving, and of course, everyone that I've met so far has been very, very nice and kind. The card art is gorgeous. I mean, just look at some of these alternate arts. I think they are really, really good. And again, they're also commissioning new artists all the time, so you will see many different new styles of art as well. And then lastly, the pricing is very, very lucrative for compared to most other card games. And I think if you ask any of the sweats who have transferred to One Piece from other card games, they will tell you that that is probably why they started playing One Piece as well. So now I've talked to you about why you should start. Let's talk about how you can get started. So I think it's pretty simple in a few different steps. First, the most easy and efficient way is to just go to your local card shop. Figure out which card shops near you have a One Piece card game local and on which day, and you can head down there and just watch and take a look. Of course, you can find out which of your nearby locals have One Piece card game events by going on the Bandai TCG Plus app. This will allow you to use the location search feature to find nearby events and nearby shops that you can attend. Of course, I don't expect you to head down to the local store right away, so make sure to check out other YouTubers, myself included, hopefully, and their content in order to learn a little bit more about the One Piece card game itself, some of the decks, watch some gameplay to see if it even vibes with you in the first place. Personally, I find the gameplay pretty fun. I think it has its level of skill expression. The skill floor is really low, it's easy to learn, but at a higher level, you can see that the decision making trees and everything are all very complex. So how you can get started is watch some content, practice online. We even have a very, very good automated simulator. Right now, it is not updated for the Eastern meta yet, but you can still, of course, use it to practice like earlier sets. And it is fully updated for the Western meta at the moment. This online simulator created by Batsu or OPTCG Sim is really, really good. I personally use it a lot for practice. I also use it for content at times, and Batsu is really the GOAT. He has a team working for him, working out bugs as well as the changes and updates as well. So it's a really, really good resource for someone to kind of get into it. I know a lot of people who just play the game exclusively on Sim as well because they just maybe don't have access to cards or locals in their local area. And then later on, when that situation changed, then they started playing locally with physical cards. Other than with the OPTCG Sim, you can also play online with other people on Discord with webcam battles. So if you do have physical cards or you don't have all your physical cards but you want to like proxy a deck out, you can of course do so. And you can use that to play with webcam players online. There are plenty of players looking for games all the time. You can always just say, hey, I'm looking for a webcam game. Does anyone want to play? Or does anyone want to teach me if I'm a bit newer to the game? And definitely people have done the same, have done that to play with newer players and kind of show them the ropes and stuff like that, myself included. And then how to kind of choose a deck, I would say at the start, pick your favorite character and just go from there. There's a bunch of leaders in the game. I think we're on like 100 leaders right now. Probably closer to like 80 or 90 leaders at the moment. And they are releasing new leaders all the time. They do have a very good mix of characters from, of course, Luffy being very popular to the rest of the Straw Hats to some of the villains like Blackbeard, you have Buggy, you have Shanks, you have Doflamingo, and you also have Law, a lot of different popular leaders, popular characters, and you also have less popular characters. Recently, for example, Caesar Clown, Sugar, both have leaders as well, and even some fan favorites like Smoker, Sakazuki, these characters all also have leader cards that you can use. Then individually, your character cards as well in your deck will also have different teams. So if you like the Navy a lot, you can play like a Navy focused deck. If you like the Straw Hats, of course, just play a bunch of your Straw Hats in your deck. If you like the Revolutionary Army, you can play decks around that as well. So there is a very, very diverse like set of cards, and you can play almost anything that you want. You can play most of the different arcs and try to build a deck around that. And then of course, if you are more of a spike kind of gamer, you can always check out the meta on some of the meta sites, which I will list the resources at the end of the video. But you can also check out some of these meta decks, the top topping winning decks on these websites, and then from there you are able to go from there. And then when you're looking to buy your cards, of course, this goes into the resources part, which I'm going to be talking about right now. But first, to recap how to get started, go to your local card shop, watch videos to learn how the game is played, as well as to find out what kind of decks you like. Practice online with the OPTCG sim or with proxies. And then lastly is to pick your favorite character and then go from there. So that's how I would get started if I were getting started in 2025. Next is a list of a bunch of different resources, really good resources that I've been using, as well as I've heard people mention being very good. Personally, I haven't used some of the more Western focused ones on this list, but I think they are all very critically acclaimed. So first, of course, the OPTCG sim, which I mentioned earlier, is really important. You want to have that for your practice. You also want to use that to kind of get familiarized with the game itself and to practice in cases where you're unable to go to locals or you maybe don't prefer to play on the webcam as much. Next is, of course, look at the official card list on the official One Piece card game website. This list has every single card printed up till now, including the alternate arts as well for you more collector-focused kind of people. The card list is maybe not the best in terms of the filters available, but it is very useful to be able to see all of the different cards in a given set. Next is a few deck building websites. I personally really like PunkDB and MokiMoki for the Eastern side of things. PunkDB is an app that you can download on the Play Store and the Apple Store. It is a really good and pretty intuitive deck builder, in my opinion. The filters available are also very good. You can filter by most things. Unfortunately, the search feature is in Japanese. I personally can write in Japanese a bit, so it does make it easier for me, but it may be a bit difficult for someone who doesn't speak or write Japanese to use that search feature. Other than PunkDB, for a web-based version, I really like MokiMoki as well. It's also a deck building website. It does a really good job. Generally, they update right away after the set list release on the official website, so it's really good. For the West, I prefer to build my decks on the sim as well as on the EG Man deck builder. So EG Man is a different, much more popular One Piece card game YouTuber. He also runs the website EG Man Events, which also has this EG Man deck builder. So I'm going to be talking about both the deck builder as well as EG Man Events. The deck builder is a pretty standard deck builder. I haven't used it much personally, but I think it is pretty robust as well. And EG Man Events is really good as a meta kind of site. It covers event coverage for the top cut of many different events, mostly on the Western side of things. And it does have deck lists for many of the top players as well. So you can scroll through the archives to see the different top players as well as the top deck list for whatever respective event as well. On the Eastern side, for a similar website, we do have firefist.gg run by RJ Jacinto. Follow him on Twitter, shout out to him over here. This also is updated pretty frequently. It does cover most of the championships and so on and so forth. Unfortunately, for the Japanese side of things, deck lists are not always published, and we don't really have a way to reach out to these Japanese players as simply. But we do have Twitter for this, so when people do post their deck lists, we do try to scry as much as possible, and it does get put onto firefist.gg most of the time, personally. And I also will try to scry like the Twitter for these winning deck lists after the events, just to, for my own personal reference as well. So if you follow me on Twitter, hopefully you will see some of these winning deck lists as well. And then another option is OP Top Decks. OP Top Decks does cover more unofficial events as well. So it does cover like standard battles, flagship battles, as well as unofficial tournaments. So it does just kind of scry Twitter as well for like, hey, this event, someone won and posted their deck list, so let me just post it on OP Top Decks. So that is the three like meta websites that I would recommend you get into in order to use those for your meta references. Right. Next, of course, make sure to join the global Discord. It has people from all around the globe. It is a place that I frequent a lot as well. It has many different sections. discussion for the English meta, the Japanese meta, for specific leaders and specific collectors as well. For it has a marketplace, so lots of different things that you can do on the global Discord. I really like it a lot. I spend a lot of time there, and I think the people on the Discord will know that as well. It is also where I found out about Ramadan and his proxies. His proxies are all very, very nice. They remove the sample card from all of them, so you can use them to print, to play as well. He also has the alternate arts available, so you can use those as well if you want. You can also use the alternate arts on the OPTCG sim. So usually I get my alternate arts from Ramadan's proxies as well. Alternatively, you can also use the EG-Man events website. I believe they also have the proxies there available too for your printing. And then lastly, for buying and selling cards, again, you can use the Discord for your marketplace, but otherwise I would always recommend that you join your local marketplace, whatever is in your area. In Singapore, we tend to use WhatsApp groups, Facebook, as well as Telegram. I think the rest of Southeast Asia is also pretty similar. But in terms of pricing and how you can refer to what cards cost how much, generally people will use TCG Player or Cardmarket in the US or in Europe, respectively. And in Singapore, we tend to refer to UUT as the price guide for Japanese cards. And then usually you just divide it by the price of the yen, or probably a little bit lower. So those are some of the resources available for beginners. Just to recap everything again, you have, of course, the OPTCG sim, and then you have the official card list on the official website. You can also check the official website for details of events and such like that as well. You have your deck building sites, PangDB, Moki, as well as EG-Man events. Then you have your meta sites. You have EG-Man events, you have Fireface.gg, you have OP Top Decks, and of course you also have Twitter. And then some miscellaneous, you also have the proxies on the global Discord. You have the global Discord itself, and for card prices you have and card purchases, you have TCG Player, Cardmarket, UUT, and that your local different marketplaces as well. So these are all the different resources that you should kind of get used to and get familiarized with in order to start the One Piece card game. Lastly, I did mention watching YouTubers and watching content in order to get started, so I just wanted to shout out some of the content creators that you should follow to get started on the One Piece card game. Personally, I really like Kadi Kaizoku, Aikai Lakai, Ashraf D. Chess, Noah Nyan, Orange Samurai, and myself, of course. And I also recommend watching Atrocious TCG and RJ Jacinto for additional commentary on things like Japanese large-scale events. Now, that being said, that is all of the things that you can do in order to start One Piece card game in the year of 2025 after 10 sets have been released. I covered the who, the why, the what, and the how to get started. And the when, I think, is right now. If not now, then when? That being said, thank you, friendos and randos, for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to drop a like, share it with your friends who are getting into the One Piece card game or are considering getting into the One Piece card game but cannot really pull the trigger yet. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure to drop a subscription to the channel as well. It would really help me to continue making more of this type of content. That being said, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys again next time. Peace out.